What is going on, guys? My name is AK, back again with another YouTube video. Now in today's video we're talking about the patch notes for Season 3 Reloaded. So if you don't know, they do sort of the half season updates. This is where we're going to see Standoff put in, as well as a few other patch notes that they've released. There's quite a lot to actually break down. We've got changes to Assault Rifles, some big changes to Snipers actually, a few little movement updates, some changes to League Play, a whole lot of stuff we'll get into in today's video. As always, we're taking a look at this from a competitive standpoint, so we're only going to be breaking down the ones, or sort of talking about the ones that actually affect competitive play, but if always you want to read the full patch notes, there'll be a link in the description. There's a whole load of stuff on zombies and some other multiplayer bits that I didn't mention in today's video, so if you're interested, go check it out. But with that said and done, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you do, be sure to drop a like, and let's get straight into it. So the first thing we're breaking down is snipers. There's been a massive change to snipers in how they actually work. So if you know, before they were very overpowered, you know, no flinch on them at all, and a very high amount of aim assist. So snipers were very overpowered, leading them to be GA'd in competitive play. That was also combined with the fact that snipers were broken, and being how overpowered snipers were, smokes were the only really sort of counter to that, and when they were broken, snipers had to be gone. But in this next big update, they've actually added lots of flinch to the snipers. Each weapon has its own individualized flinch pattern, and I haven't actually got to play this patch yet, so we'll have to actually see how that plays out in terms of what sniper could potentially be the best. And not saying that the GA is going to be removed, but there is a potentially at least a decent chance with these sort of nerfs coming to the snipers that we could see them back in competitive play. Now this is really good because I think Search and Destroy gameplay is a lot different and a lot slower without the snipers. I do enjoy the snipers being there. If you look back at Modern Warfare, you know, on Wuskin on Piccadilly is one that I remember. I'm sure there's a whole load of others, you know, just the snipers do make for great moments, and I love to see them in Search and Destroy having that utility, and it really does sort of change the way that you play Search and Destroy. So I'm hoping this does actually fix them, and then we will see them back in competitive play. But of course, we'll need to give this a try in-game once the update, I think it's installing at the moment as I speak, so I'll have to give them a go, see how they feel. So the next massive change that they've made that's arguably the most important to competitive play is the changes that they've made to the assault rifles. They've actually buffed the bullet velocity of all of the assault rifles bar the FFAR, which I'm sure if you've seen competitive play, the only two ARs that ever get used really are the Krig and the FFAR. So the Krig has had some very good buffs. The bullet velocity has been increased from 625 to 686, so a boost in bullet velocity there, as well as an extra 126% as opposed to 100% bullet velocity increase when you're using the Ranger barrel, which is the sort of the standard competitive barrel, so you will be seeing that boost as well. Now sub players are not happy about this. You know, the Krig is a very strong weapon as we speak now, and these updates are only going to make it stronger. So as an AR, I'm loving it, but the subs are not too happy. Now on the FFAR side of things, they have not actually increased the bullet velocity, they've decreased it slightly, but they have increased the max damage from 27 to 28. Now the FFAR does see a small bit of play on certain maps. You know, Apocalypse, sometimes the second AR might run it, and on Garrison we see it a little bit sometimes, but really not too much. Maybe this update will actually bring it more in line with what the Krig can do, and another sort of good contender for that second AR spot. But again, I say it with everything, we're going to have to try it in game, see how it feels, and I'll let you know what I think. Lastly, on the subject of weapon tuning, the last one that I want to talk about is there's been a minor change to pistols. So the bullet velocity for the Diamatti, the burst pistol, you know, the one that's used in competitive, has been increased from 250 to 257. So really not too much of a boost there, but thought it'd be worth mentioning anyway, being that it is one of the competitive weapons. Now there's also been a small little change to movement in crouching. It now takes 20 milliseconds longer to crouch than it did before. Now I don't really see what effect this would have, a sort of massive effect, but I have seen some people talk about the old style of slide cancelling is now back, so we'll have to give this a try in game. But yeah, basically the patch note says a slightly longer time to crouch, and hopefully that sort of fixes some sort of fluid movement mechanics in the game. Now the next point is on League Play, and this is that I know we mentioned, I think in the Season 3 updates, there was something about matches being cancelled. So, you know, if a player left, the match would get cancelled, and it was slightly buggy. It was cancelling games that had already been going for 10 minutes, which kind of gives you the option to leave, and none of your teammates actually lose the XP. So maybe not the best thing there, but apparently this is now being officially added. If a player disconnects before the game starts or in the early minutes of the round, I'm guessing maybe in the first minute or so, then actually the match gets cancelled. And it does state that everybody left in the game, other than the person that left, of course, will not receive any penalty to their league points. So definitely good to see there, because, you know, playing 3v4s from the start is never fun. So there's a few other things in there that are more sort of cosmetic and just sort of ease of life updates that have been changed. The first one is that the bomb sites on Raid have actually changed names. So what was the A-bomb site is now the B-bomb site, and the B-bomb site is now the A-bomb site, just to make sure they're in line with where the control points were, because, you know, you've got the control point in the ring and then the bomb near that, and then the control point down by the bottom water and the bomb near that. And previously that was the wrong way around. So the B site control was the A-bomb site and the A site control was near the B-bomb site. So got a little bit confusing, but now they're flipped. So the B-bomb site is down by the bottom of the water, and so there's the B control site, and then the A control site is up the top, sort of by the P1 ring, and so is the A-bomb site. And lastly, there's a few people saying that Miami now looks brighter. Now, again, I haven't actually been on the game to test this, but this is something that I would like to see. The map is very dark, and sometimes the visibility on it isn't great, especially when it's played competitively. You want to make sure that, at minimum, you can at least see the people that you're trying to shoot, and sometimes that isn't always the easiest. So if that is true, which, again, I can't say that I've tested, but a lot of people are saying it, so hopefully it is. And of course, not exactly a patch note, but last of all, Standoff is going to be coming in. So I don't know actually whether it will be moved into competitive play. I'm guessing it probably will. For exactly what maps and modes, I don't know. Because if we look back to Black Ops 2, when it was originally played competitively, it was in for Hardpoint, Search and Destroy, and Capture the Flag. Of course, we don't have Capture the Flag this year. We've got Control. So we could potentially see it as a control map. And an S&D map as well, if maybe we look to see Checkmate get phased out, you know, with the very one bomb site favoured, sort of the plain bomb site gets planted nearly all the time, and the sort of the A street side bomb site never gets planted. So maybe we'll see it come to replace that, but I'm not too sure. But definitely a very good map. If they do add it into any of the maps rotations, definitely not going to be sad about that. And I should just quickly mention, I know I get commented this a few times. People say, oh, why can't you just add it as opposed to necessarily replacing everything? And while you can, it does get a little bit sort of more complicated because, of course, the more maps that you have to practice, the more maps you have to learn to a very high standard. And so it's just more maps that you're going to have to play, basically, in a scrim rotation. Currently, a full scrim for hardpoints is 5 maps. If Standoff was added as well, that would then be 6 maps, which, if it was just one map, isn't so bad, but if it's being added for Hardpoint, S&D, Control, you can see this quite quickly builds up, and then you have to learn a lot of maps, and then subsequently play a lot of maps. So I think their general consensus is try and keep it as few, but the best maps that you possibly can. Hopefully that clears a few things up for those of you that were wondering. But thanks a lot for watching this video. Really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to drop a like, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one.